heads up before we dive in. All of these habits aren't necessarily bad. I've done them. You've probably done them too. And yeah, in the right situation, some of them might even work. But here's the thing, they're way overrated. And for so many goalkeepers, they are the very thing holding them back. So let's cut through the noise together and figure out what might actually be keeping you stuck. And to kick things off, let me ask you something. Have you ever been told that to be a great goalkeeper, you need to shout all the time? Like, if you're not barking orders non-stop, you're somehow not a leader? When I was younger, I was that goalkeeper, you know, the one yelling anything and everything the entire game. Hey, come on, push up, get back! I might be exaggerating a bit, but you get the point. I became background noise, like a buzzing bee that my teammates just learned to ignore. Because shouting just for the sake of it isn't leadership, it isn't even helpful, it's just noise. Stick to short, specific instructions. Things like Jake, cover near post, or Mike, watch the runner. These are short, simple, and direct. Also, if you keep yelling in panic, guess what? Your team is going to panic too, but if you stay calm and confident, even when the pressure is on, they'll trust you and they'll follow your lead. And speaking of trust, let's move on to another overrated habit that might be holding you back. This one's a bit sneaky, because it's so easy to fall into, especially for goalkeepers. Have you ever felt like everyone has advice on how you should play as a goalkeeper? Your coach says one thing, your teammates say another, your parents have their ideas. Then, of course, there are YouTube videos like this one. All those voices can really start messing with your head, right? When you got too many opinions bouncing around in your mind, it's hard to focus on what actually is working for you. One day someone's telling you to come off your line more, the next they're telling you to stay back. One person says you should be working on your kicking, someone else swears reflexes are the way to go, and before you know it, you're second guessing everything. And trust me, I've been there. I got overwhelmed, and instead of getting better, I started doubting myself. The reality is, not all advice is good advice, and even the good advice, it might not be the right advice for you. Anyone can post tips online, even start a YouTube channel, and sure, some of it is amazing. Let's also be honest, a lot of it comes from people who never stood in goal themselves. So here's what I've learned. Pick one or two people who really know their stuff, who you trust. Maybe it's your coach, maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's someone with 20 years of real goalkeeping experience. Whoever it is, stick to their advice, trust their guidance, and forget the rest. All right, let's dive into another overrated habit. And this one's tricky because it feels like you're doing the right thing, but in reality, you're not. Have you ever found yourself spending hours looking for that one drill, that one perfect routine, or that one piece of advice you're convinced will finally take your game to the next level? If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you're not alone. When I first started taking goalkeeping seriously, I fell into that trap. I spent hours scrolling through videos, making schedules, and wait for it, even color coding my plans. Yes, color coding, because obviously having rainbow colored notes would make me a better goalkeeper, right? I spent so much time trying to build the perfect plan that I barely left any time for actual training. I was stuck in what's called paralysis by analysis. You know, the feeling, I just need to find the perfect training plan before I start. Sound familiar? There is no such thing as a perfect plan. There is no magic drill that's going to transform you into a top goalkeeper overnight. The only way of improving is to stop overthinking and actually start doing. You can always tweak your plan along the way, but none of that matters if you're not taking the first step. And by the way, if you're training alone and you're feeling like you're guessing half the time, I've built a full step-by-step program that shows you exactly what to work on, how to do it, and how to know you're actually improving. So if you want to check it out, I've left a link in the description. Anyways, let's get back to the video. All right, next up, let's talk about a trap that almost every goalkeeper falls into at some point. Have you ever watched a highlight reel of a goalkeeper pulling off a jaw-dropping reflex save and thought, that's it? That's the secret to becoming great? And I get it. Those saves look incredible, almost like something straight out of a superhero movie. But here's the thing, they're not nearly as important as you might thing. When I was younger, I completely bought into this idea. I spent hours practicing reflex drills, diving for those dramatic top corner saves, and working on quick reactions. And yeah, I'll admit, it feels amazing. I mean, who doesn't love feeling like a superhero for a moment, flying through the air to pull off a save? But here's the problem. I was so focused on the flashy stuff that I completely ignored the fundamentals. I wasn't working on my positioning, my footwork, handling, or even basic diving technique. Reflex saves and top corner dives, they're like the cherry on top of a cake. Flashy, sure, but they're not that important. Coaches and scouts aren't looking for keepers who make everything look dramatic. They want keepers who make goalkeeping look easy. And if you focus on mastering your fundamentals, you won't even need the best reflexes in the world. Big reflex saves will come and go. They're unpredictable and rare, but your basics, they're reliable. They'll stay with you every game, help you make more saves, and make goalkeeping look effortless. And that's the real goal. Right? All right, here we go. The most overrated habit of them all. This one, it's tough, it's emotional, and I already know it's going to spark some serious debate. But before you jump into any conclusions, let me ask you this. Have you ever stayed at a club with a coach or even in an environment because it felt safe and familiar, even though deep down you knew it wasn't helping you grow? I know I have. Because when I was breaking through as a goalkeeper, I stayed at my childhood club way longer than I should have. Why? Because I felt loyal. Loyal to the coaches who believed in me, loyal to my teammates who felt like family, and loyal to the club. They gave me so much over the years. It all felt so comfortable. But do you know what it didn't feel like? Progress. I wasn't getting enough game time, the training wasn't pushing me anymore, and I wasn't improving as a goalkeeper. Deep down, I knew that if I wanted to take the next step in my career, I needed to move on. Loyalty is a great quality. It builds relationships, it shows character, it often holds teams together. But if the environment you're in isn't helping you grow, or if you're not getting the game time or development you need, staying loyal is only slowing you down. So ask yourself, is the team, your coach, the environment you're in right now truly helping you grow? If the answer is yes, amazing, stay loyal, work hard, and give everything you got. But if the answer is no, don't be afraid to move on, because your career is way too short to stay one place where you're not growing. Now, putting your own growth first is one of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn as a goalkeeper. But here's the thing, there are other lessons just as important that so many goalkeepers realize too late. The good news though, you won't have to. So if you want to know what those lessons are, check out my next video right here.